if they come in late. So welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us today. It's been an amazing take up on this. I've been really pleasantly surprised, to be honest, and we've split this into two sessions, one now, one at 2:30, in order to accommodate everybody and make sure the groups aren't too big. Over 130 people in the end have said they wanted to do this series, which is amazing. I guess some housekeeping to start with. I've muted people's phones just to, I guess, try and keep background noise to the minimum. I would recommend that people perhaps thumbnail the video, just so that perhaps put it in the top left-hand corner. That way it won't cover any of the slides. I've got sort of 3 or 4 slides to talk through today. Also, I'm not expecting a fire alarm, but if there is one, then I will be leaving the building. You'll be able to stay where you are. I guess that'll be the new normal nowadays. We won't have to do those sorts of introductions at the beginning of talks. So as a quick introduction, my name is Roland. I'm Managing Director of MRK Associates. We are an international revenue management recruitment business. We were originally founded as a finance recruitment business, which we still have that business going ahead. We started working in the UK heavily with the hotel and airline industries for finance recruitment, and then they asked us to help with revenue management. And about 6 years ago, that's where we got involved. And since then, we've worked heavily in the UK, across Europe, Middle East, Far East, worked in Americas. Haven't done much in Australia or Africa, to be honest, yet. I think Australia mainly due to the time differences in the UK. And Africa, I think, will be somewhere that develops over the next few years, because it's a growing market. We are not here to talk and sell about MRK. What I really want to try and do is just give everyone here a bit of information as to how and why I should be able to help with your career planning in this sector. I've spent now 6-7 years working with multiple industries that deal with revenue management in multiple locations, different size organizations, helped numerous people in their careers in different directions, and obviously help numerous directors of revenue, commercial directors fill their teams. So what we're going to try and do in this series is try to break down career planning into all the individual elements, really try and break down everything from personal thought processes and personalities to what different businesses can offer you, and then through to how to develop your own skill set in terms of where revenue management's heading and the type of job that might suit you. We've got over 130 people, as I said. So the differences in terms of from Brazil to Singapore, and the differences from people in revenue analyst or even reservations positions, perhaps, who have joined, who are, and people I've got higher up the ladder. What I'm going to try and do in this series is challenge your thought process, try and get you to think about what I'm talking about for yourselves. So I'm going to try and provoke some thought, and try and outline different things to think about to help you think, okay, how does my career fit into that, and where is my path? What is it I need to be doing and should be doing? So today is the introduction of, as I've done, who we are, and this is, I'll talk you through now the subjects we're going to go through over the next few weeks, and hopefully you'll see how we're trying to build this this career planning into a path, and how things sort of lead into each other. So the first one to start with is, we're doing the introduction today, and then next week we'll be looking at getting you to understand and think about what is it you enjoy doing. Might sound like an easy topic and something that's fairly obvious, but when you actually break down your current job or the jobs you've had in the past and think to yourself, what is it I enjoyed about them? What duties is it you liked? What duties did you not like? Is it the industry you've been in? Is it the people you've worked with? Is it the culture of the business you've worked in? Is it the the location, the country you're in? There's a huge amount of variables that actually influence what you enjoy. Now, the reason we want to think about this is people's career success is different. Their view of where they want to end up and what they consider to be a success is different. So what is important spending 7.5, 8 hour plus a day in a job is that you enjoy what you do. And there's a habit that when you're, say, a good revenue manager, as you develop your career, if you end up managing people, you actually end up moving away from the revenue management, the things that you were good at and the things that you enjoyed, because you end up managing people all day. And that's not always what people end up enjoying. So this is going to really be trying to break down all the different variables about what and how and why you enjoy your job, and getting you to think about in the future what type of role it is that we use those things you enjoy in more detail. 20th of May, we'll look at the different cultures, different business types, and that this will be breaking down different industries that might suit you in revenue management, different countries, different size organizations, the very different roles in the hotel world, for instance, from being a site revenue managers to being in a consolidated center. And being in a consolidated center in the UK is very different to being in a consolidated center in China or in Singapore, for instance. So we're going to break that down in more detail as well. And there's quite a lot to that. 27th of May, where is revenue management heading? Now, this is a big topic and something I really enjoy. We've just completed our UK salary guide for the industry, and it's just at the designers being put together because it's all digital. And I've done an article in there about where revenue management is heading. And to give you a bit of a taster, with things like AI, there will be more automation, more analysis work done by the computers, and the revenue management world will become more strategic. It will become more about the communication and the ideas and the thought processes. Now, if you enjoy analysis, for instance, where revenue management's heading might not actually suit where your enjoyment is and where your key skills lie. So actually maybe thinking about a career either heading down perhaps more the revenue management systems route or into data analytics might actually suit you better. So this is where thinking about the first couple of weeks then start to feed into where is the industry heading and how that will affect your thought process moving forward. So as we enter June, we'll actually look then at all the career options and directions and what's available to you, what to choose, how to choose it, how to do it. In terms of trying to understand where your ultimate career path is, there are stepping stones that you will then need to choose in order to build your skills in the direction you want to be heading, and we'll talk through that in more detail. 10th of June is learn, develop, read, subscribe. And this is really, once we've looked at the options and types of roles that would suit you and how to get there, this is then when we start to look at how you as an individual can build what you know, how you know it, where to find out. This can be internal courses, internal training in your current business. It could be external courses, and it can be, we've seen a huge rise in webinars. I've done more webinars in the last 3 weeks than I've ever done in my entire life. But they've been amazing actually about developing my knowledge and my thought process. 17th of June, push the pace with technology. Probably a good point where I should also add, there will be weeks where I will bring in someone, a specialist in the area in which we're talking about, and they will be able to give you some in-depth specialist knowledge on some areas. And the technology pieces, I've got an RMS, revenue management system specialist, who's going to come in and talk to you about where technology is developing. And then some of this will be using this to think, where do you want your career developing from the previous weeks we've done, and what technologies and how can you develop and keep up to speed with where the technology is going. If you can be at the forefront of technology and revenue management, depending on what direction you're wanting to go in, it can very much put you at the forefront of where you will be in your career. End of June. So this is one of my favorites. I have to say, probably my favorite is to create a brand of you. So this is really then understanding where you want to be going, having learned, developed, really pushed your skill sets and your learning curve and your knowledge. It's then building you as an individual in the eyes of the industry. With social media now, this is easier than you think, and it's not about opening up your private life. It's more around participating in the industry. You don't need to set up your own consultancy to do this. I think historically that's what's happened, is where people have become their own consultants. They've had to advertise themselves. But now more and more industry leaders are being seen as that. They're being seen as knowledge experts. And whether you're working for an ACL or a smaller boutique family group, this is about participating, showing your knowledge, participating in webinars. And it will be about how you build yourself in the revenue management industry. Because what will happen is once you can build that profile, people will end up coming to you for jobs. They will end up coming to you saying, I'm doing this, I've got this opportunity, are you interested? Or they'll say, do you know someone who could be interested in doing this? Because you will have built yourself a network in this branding work you've been doing. And this is an important and fun thing to do. So having done that, we move into July. And this is where it starts to become a bit more about your thought process. 1st of July is about prioritizing and being selfish. What I say that is not about being selfish. It's about understanding it's your career, and you might have an employer that drives you up the career ladder and gets you exactly where you want to go, and that is brilliant. But that's quite rare. You know, the shelf life now of people in revenue management in a job is less than 2 years. The industry is moving so fast that generally people are moving into new opportunities to build their skill set. It's not essential, and I'm not here certainly to push that message, but it's important to understand it's your career and you have to drive it. You have to push your boss to give you access to new skills, to new projects, so that you can build your knowledge and your expertise. 8th of July, mental health. Now, this is becoming obviously an issue around the world more and more. I've got, again, specialist who's desperate to come and talk to us about it, and how managing your mental health, while driving your career. Don't be too hard on yourself, give yourself realistic expectations, that sort of thing. 15th of July is about self-belief. Now, without giving too much away, where the future of revenue management's heading, a lot of it's about communication and conviction of thought, and how you communicate that conviction of thought. And the self-belief here is, some people have it and some people don't. It's often quite black and white. And revenue management, particularly, I think, as you're dealing with stakeholder management and that sort of thing, will become more about believing in yourself, believing in the communication, believing in the knowledge that you've built up, and having the conviction to back your own judgment, and to back the decisions you've made around pricing, around key customer segment targeting, around marketing promotions, whatever the case may be. And how you develop your self-belief and your confidence will be massively important in the revenue management industry. And if you feel that's an area you see you struggle, you might decide that actually revenue management ends up perhaps not being quite where you want it to be, based on where we see the industry developing. 22nd of July will be more about organising your CV. Now, this isn't about trying to get you to move jobs. What it is about is seeing your CV as more of a business diary. It's about seeing your CV as the upkeep of your business life. So in other words, at the moment, there's a lot of people furloughed, and I imagine a lot of people on this call perhaps are furloughed and have got a bit of time on their hands, hence they're here. But those of you that are still working, as an example, were probably doing a number of things now that they may not have done before. And immediately putting that into your CV and getting that written down while it's fresh in your mind allows you to perhaps be more detailed and more specific about what you're learning, about what you're doing, and keeping that and getting your CV in place. And once it's written down, it's written down. We'll also look at how to actually structure a CV and put some key things in it in case you're applying for jobs internally and you need a CV, or you are looking externally. And then 29th of July, we'll look at meeting techniques. I did originally call this interview techniques, but actually I've changed it because it could be about interviews externally. But also I realized that a lot of it will be about how to manage meetings internally with stakeholders, GMs, commercial directors, etc. It could be internal promotions you're after. It could be your annual reviews, and actually how you manage those meetings using the self-belief and the knowledge you've built, and also understanding what you want to get out of those meetings based on where you're trying to go in your career. So we'll do an element on that, on meeting techniques and that sort of thing. So that is the series through to the end of July. We are 17 minutes in, which is pretty good. So my plan with these is that I will probably talk, myself or my guest will make up about 20 minutes, and our thought process is we will try and give you the information we can, but we want it to be as interactive and as personal to everyone on the call, on the webinar as we can. So we do want questions coming to us, and we would like to be able to answer those to make sure we cover everything that people are looking for us to cover. That is very important. In the same breath, we will be happy to answer any questions and talk to anybody outside of this. If anyone wants to email me, drop me a LinkedIn invite. I'm more than happy to have any conversations with anybody. That's no problem at all. What I thought I would also do in this is give you a quick overview of where and what I'm hearing in the market a bit at the moment. I think, a lot of people who are furloughed, hopefully your businesses are keeping in touch with you. But I know not all of them are doing that. So if there are businesses, so I guess I've been talking to people from Singapore, Far East, all the way to the Americas about the markets, and obviously the situation with COVID-19 has hit the hospitality sector as bad as any industry. I think what we're seeing is in the UK, for an example, we're 3 months behind China, and they are hopefully on the way out of this. Their occupancies are up to sort of 75-80% in areas. The UK, we've got the majority of hotels still closed. But 3 months is not a long period of time when you consider in the hotel world, I think 65% of bookings are made in the last quarter on average. So, hopefully we can see ourselves coming out of this quite quickly. Interestingly, the difference of opinion of how quickly we'll come back from this has changed significantly around the world. In Asia, where they've experienced the SARS virus and things in the past, they seem to be quite positive generally about how they'll bounce back. They're quite optimistic. Their leisure segment's going to bounce back quite quickly. In the UK, it seems to be a lot more reticent, a lot more worry about that. Are people going to go to London for a weekend away at the theatre and stay in a hotel? With social distancing, that also might be a problem. Perhaps people in the UK, from a leisure point of view, are going to go more rural to spas and golf weekends, those sorts of things. So in the UK, it might be domestic business that comes back first. So I think I would recommend to all of you to make sure you're investigating what's going on in the countries that you're working in, and really try and look at what's going on around the world as well. The key thing for the hotel sector to come out of this when things start to recover will be understanding what the new normal is, what perhaps occupancy levels now are going to be, what the new expectations are, and really digging and driving into what the customer segmentations are going to be, and targeting those and getting back the ones, or getting the customers back that are going to come back first. That's going to be the key battle, I think, for the hotel sector. Airlines have got huge challenges ahead, but at least there's some flights now starting to head out from different places, so that is positive. So we will see where we go with that, and I've got a lot more information I could give based on conversations that I've had, but I'm sure you guys are up to speed with that. So next week, moving on to this for next week. Next week is about enjoying what you do. And actually, I want to just do a very quick poll, if I can, to, and actually I had a couple of polls at the beginning of this, and I forgot to do them. So do you know what I am going to do? I'm going to give you 3 polls now, and we're going to do the 2 we were going to do at the beginning, and I'm going to do this last one. So the first one is, how much thought have you put into your career planning? If you guys want to just pick one answer there, in terms of how much thought have you put into career planning so far in your careers? Have a quick coffee while you're filling that in. Okay, give you five more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so looking at those results, generally think about it quite often. Good. I think that's absolutely the right place to be. I know exactly what my career plan is. Well, congratulations to you guys. Most people tend to have some doubt or worry or queries about it, but think about it quite often and think about it occasionally. So that's pretty normal. I think what I'm going to try and do here then, I go where it takes me. Again, this series then should hopefully really help you to put a little bit more structure behind that, actually, and thinking about where you might want to go. I think for the others, in terms of thinking about it occasionally and quite often, I'm hoping we'll be able to give you some food for thought then on that, and really fill in some of those gaps. Okay, so the second one is, what are going to be the top 3 most important areas of development for you over the next few years? Now, there is an extra one at the bottom. There's another one that says other, if you need that, but I'm hoping I've covered most of the decent ones. So if you'd like to pick, you can got the choice of 3. You can use three votes here. What are going to be your top 3 most important areas for development over the next few years? I'm quite pleased no one's put other in yet. That's good. That means I've covered off most of them. If anyone does put other, please could you write in the chat window what the other is, because I might add it in for the next session. Okay, so give you 5 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so let's see what that says. Share results. Okay, so what have we got here? Stakeholder management skills is what needs developing. I think that's a huge area that revenue management is developing day by day. Second, technology. Third is your own personality and confidence. Okay, so interesting, and I'm not too surprised by that, actually. In terms of those top 3, technology is changing so quickly and is influencing the revenue management industry so quickly that that's bound to be a big factor. The stakeholder management skills is going to be the lines of communication that you have in your role in the future, and your confidence in delivering that is going to be very important. So the other, I guess, major things here are technical revenue management skills, and then you've got commercial strategic understanding. So interesting, commercial strategic understanding is lower down. I thought that would perhaps have come a little bit higher up, because it's very much where revenue management's heading, with AI taking over the analytical stuff. It's going to all be about the strategic thought processes and what the data is telling you strategically for the direction of the business you work in. So okay, good. And then the last one, this is the one about next week. So this is about enjoying your job. So I'm just slightly fun on this one. So it's really just how much would you say you enjoy your job? Can't wait to get out as a first vote. That's probably one of my guys, to be honest, who works for me on this call. Good. Pleased to see these. Okay, so 5 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Done. Okay, so most pleasing of all, enjoyable, and absolutely love it are the top two, which is great to hear. I do wonder, actually, with the whole furloughing and the situation that's gone on, businesses seem to have either gone about it the right way and their staff understand and are sympathetic. And some businesses seem to have not gone about it actually very well. And I wonder if maybe some of these results have perhaps been a result of that. I think, look, the enjoyable and the absolutely love it, guys. This series, will not be then about you trying to, change jobs, which is great. This will be about you then thinking, and what you might want to think about is, how do I develop my skills internally if you enjoy where you are? The guys that aren't enjoying it quite so much, maybe we need to think about for next week, think about why not. So actually, looking at those then. So for next week, what I want you to think about is, what do you enjoy about where you are at the moment? And that is duties. It is the people you work with. It can be the stakeholders or the management of the business, the location you're in, the industry you're in, the cultures in your business, huge amounts of different variables that affect why you enjoy it. And if you do enjoy it, I want you to think about, okay, why is that? And then for the future, how do you build on those things that you're enjoying? If you're not enjoying things too much at the moment where you are, I do want you to try and think, what element of the job are you enjoying? Because hopefully there's something. And then think to yourself, okay, why am I not enjoying, and what are the things I would want to change? Because then it's about planning your career. Might be short term, I just simply want to move, do the same job I'm doing really, but I need a different culture. The culture of my business isn't good, and that's fine. But think further than that as well. Think about your career planning down the line. Think about, okay, what is it I think I would enjoy as an individual, and where, therefore, what type of thing do I want to be doing in the future? Because we'll talk about that a lot next week and really try and challenge some of your thoughts on that. So that's me done. Where are we? 27 minutes past, 28 minutes past. So does anyone have any questions this week, or anything they'd like us to cover in future series? And by all means, you can feel free to email me after this, or drop me a LinkedIn invite or anything like that. Doesn't look like we've got any questions. So good. Well, look, hopefully the next few weeks, next 12 series, 12 sessions will fill a few gaps and get you thinking about a few positive things or a few new things. And I look forward to hopefully seeing you all over the next few weeks. But as I said, feel free to drop me anything if you want anything me to bring up, specific things for you over the next few weeks. More than happy to help. But thanks for joining us, and speak to you soon. Thanks all. Bye-bye.